Hello, welcome back to the channel. So we've got a little bit of an update here. So a couple of things. These are teasers for coming in the next week or two. We have... So this is a mixed bag. In my hands here, I've got the best armor kit I've ever seen, and not the worst, but a disappointing one. I'll let you decide which one you think is the best and which one you think is not. I'll tell you what, a little clue, the best one of these two comes with two incredible figures. The other one doesn't. So there we go. So a bit of a mixed bag. I've done some quite in-depth reviews on both of these, and they're up on YouTube now, so we're going to run into those. So this is just an update for where we are for everyone who follows me personally, rather than just I want to get on with the channel and why haven't you built the models you promised. This is more for, you know, everyone who follows me, and it's all a bit tongue-in-cheek. So I've got plans going forward for what I want to do now. I intend, here he goes doing all his things, I intend to get these two built up over the next sort of month or so, just to see what they look like. I'm not saying, you know, get them finished, but get them built up. Now, this one, I'm going to do French, and I'm going to throw another one into the mix. Now, I probably won't do a review on this because it's been knocking around for a bit, but with the H39 release, which is fantastic, just fantastic, well done Tamiya. I got the R35 as well. I got both of these from Kruko Models. It's my local model shop, not as local as it used to be. I used to actually live in Kruko, and we've now moved, so I don't mind saying it a bit more. Not not that I was expecting to have groupies at my door, but you know, you've got to be careful what you put on the internet. It's probably not best saying you live in a small market town. But I don't anymore, so it's fine. Kruko Models, fantastic little shop. So he sorted me out with these two. This one just came in yesterday, so dropped in and picked it up. Because although I don't live there, I still work locally to Kruko. And that was brilliant. So that's really got the juices flowing a little bit. The H39, the figure is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The French figure is great. The German figure is just brilliant. I'm going to start spoiling the review, but that there says an awful lot about where Tamiya are going. It doesn't look much, but if you're into German armour, you are after this figure. I don't know why, you're just always after a figure that looks like this, in the top of a king tiger. You just want him sort of looking out as he's sort of, I don't know, if you're doing like a Berlin thing or something. Not that there's many king tigers in Berlin, but anyway, it's just perfect. Even better than that is the French figure. I mean, we are approaching resin. We're not there yet. It's not like a resin figure. If you get a figure from Alpine, it's going to be better than this one. But this is very close. It's astounding. It really is what Tamiya are doing, and they're paying attention. Now, I've got some other kits. I'm not buying loads of kits. He says, got four here. Not buying loads of kits. Got four. Haven't even bought any, and I've bought four. This just took my fancy. Now, what I thought I would do, the reason I'm getting these kits is I thought it'd be quite nice to look through, think about it, maybe do a little bit of building, but I'm trying to get away from the idea of I need to finish a model before I even talk about it, because it just limits me. And of course, I'm not in a position now where I can build 20 models a year. So I've got to sort of pick and choose my subjects, but it doesn't mean that we can't say, you know, make a start on this, or maybe get the build done, or maybe have a look at the cockpit and say, wow, that's a really good job, Edward, you know. Try some of the decals in and around the cockpit and see, you know, how they're looking, or maybe take it all the way on. Look, desperate to do a bare metal finish. And with that, desperate to do a bare metal finish, and he's looking at the olive drab ones. But this will be a bare metal finish. I also am going to pick up the P40. Now, again, not to keep chucking a name in there, but in Kruko Models, this is where I got these from. He had the P40 dual combo, and I thought, you know, it's just, I do not need two P40 kits, but the schemes, Flying Tigers, RAAF ones with the white tails. I forgot. Certainly two I could have done in the box, but I do not need two 148 P40s right now. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be around forever, being Edward. So I might wait until a few more of the boxings come out. But the P40E is just... Anyway. Over in here, in my Swift... Why is it gone sideways? Something to do with that. Anyway, we won't mess around with that. In there is the near completions. So we've got the Panzer I finished. And we're going to have a look at that in a minute at the bench. We've got, so that's the Tamiya Panzer I B. That's on the editing program. Been photos taken. The video's complete. So that's that done. We've got Tamiya motorbike and sidecar in there that was going to be part of a diorama. Split the two apart because it was getting too much. And I've got some video of that because that was tied in with the Panzer I build. But we can make a little video out of that, and that will be more about finishing the base rather than the build. I mean, it's just same old thing. And then here we've got Panzer I C from Hobby Boss. Now I started this in 2023, December, but still 2023. This is essentially finished. This isn't even one that's an hour away. I mean, that is done. I just need to paint the periscopes, and I'm waiting for a paint to come in, particular paint called periscopes. Not much else really. I mean, we're getting on to aerial and then trying to select a figure because it's a training tank. I was going to try and sort of raid my spares, maybe like the extra. I've got extra boxes of the Famo from Tamiya, which comes with 9 figures in overalls. So I've got that twice. So I got 18 figures in overalls. So that's my spares. I was going to see if I can get one in overalls that I can squeeze in there, but it's quite a small gap. I might have to cut him off at the torso and squeeze him in. Anyway, that's kind of the feeling I want to get to sell the idea that it's a training tank, not a tank in action. Quite well beaten up. I got a base. It's actually on the wrong base. This is the base for the Panzer I, the Panzer I B. The Panzer I B is on the base for the Panzer I C. But all in all, it's fine. I'm just waiting on what I'm going to do, really, as far as groundwork. I've put the texture on, which is good stuff. So I talk about this. This is good. Really good. Bit wary of VMS, personally. It's just personally from me, not representing anyone else. They support a lot of channels. A lot of those channels use VMS products, of course, because just now it makes me slightly wary. I've tried their super glue in the past because I thought, oh, it's the next best thing. Night shift, put on the super glue, wash it off with the debonder, everything. Well, it didn't work at all like that for me. It was just the super glue didn't work very well, not compared. I mean, this was better, cheapy stuff, and then the debonder didn't release it. So I thought, right, okay, let's back off because I went down the VMS train, and I thought let's just back off that a bit. But I saw this. I think Night Shift was using it among many others. This is really good stuff. I was reliably informed by one of my friends, who's a bit of a handyman, that you can buy this, trade and mix it up yourself and have a massive pot for half the price. But you know, as modelers, we're paying for convenience. So if you don't know how to do that, which I don't, $8.99 for a pot. I've done 3 bases, and I can probably get the base for the polycarb off out of this as well. And it's really good. It dries pretty fast, water based, so you can wet it and then it will go further, and it goes off rock solid. So that's very good stuff. And again, that is not moved since the last update. Still thinking about this Venturi that I've lost. In all the time I've been thinking about it, I could have scratch built one. I found a 3D printed file. That took me down a route. 3D printing, not yet. You know, we'll come back to it another day, but good Lord, not yet. That's a whole different thing when you get into that. So I think I'm probably going to find a couple of bits of sprue that are funneled and drill them out, glue them together, make the best of it I can. And that'll bring that one on, but I'll do that when I get to it. I'm not trying to do little bits to everything. I'm trying to really push through. So the Panzer I B, I got to the end. The Panzer I C, we're at the end, just waiting for this colour. Don't need it yet anyway. That video's not coming out for a long time. So that's all working really well. and then it's on to another few projects. I've got a drawer here of models that are sort of ready to be done, and I want to get into, I've got a whole list. I'll show you the back of it. This is lists and lists and lists and lists and lists of ideas that I want to do for the channel, which I'm going to do, including a series. So there's plenty coming down the line. It doesn't necessarily involve I'm going to build this model from start to finish and you'll get a build video. I've got ideas where we can do a lot more from a lot more kits. So maybe building up a few here and there, a few bits and bobs, doing some techniques, showing you how to do things and going on like that. I think it's going to be far more interesting and exciting as far as video content. And the bonus of that is all of a sudden Panzer I B drops and it's a full build video, and then we got a few more tips and tricks, more talking about something, how this went together, build reviews, and then bang, we got another one, full build video. So I'm going to do it like that, as opposed to that's kind of how I started the channel. It's kind of what I've always been. Sorry, I was rudely interrupted by my friend trying to ring me there. So this is going back to what the channel was originally. I changed it to try and be like everyone else, which isn't a good thing, is it? To just releasing build videos and almost getting a bit worried on putting up sort of more casual content. Well, casual content is what this channel's all about, and it's only getting more like that with the builds going through. So there'll be something for everyone. If you only want to see build videos, then only click on them when they come up. If you like this sort of thing, there'll be some more of this. If you like some in-between tips and tricks videos, then there'll be some of that as well. I'm hoping to do some sort of top fives and things like that. Now, I must mention, because time goes on, it's unbelievable. I was expecting to have done a lot on this. So I've got a Gallieri airbrush, just like everyone else. But I'm not going to do an inbox review because you've probably seen 20 of them. I'm going to use this in a video, and I'm going to use this when I paint up the bases. So it's all tied together. Excuse me. So it's all tied together. But what I thought we would do just here, just now, is chuck it on the floor, is just show you the presentation. Now, I didn't know who Gallieri were. Gallery were, but no, I did, sorry, but I thought they were like a cheapy like knockoff brand. I don't know why, I didn't really think about it, if I'm honest, as who does, you know. But I mean, that is there's nothing wrong with that, is there? Nothing wrong with that at all. And if we take my workhorse, got a couple here actually. So I've got the Iwata Revolution, which is the first airbrush I bought. Has been a little bit it's something's wrong with it, and I don't know what. I think there's a non-return valve or something. I bought 2 of them. You screw it in too tight and then you can't move the needle, and I thought, for goodness sake. And now it sort of doesn't, it was leaking paint up there, doesn't do that anymore, but it doesn't totally seal. You know, like I've got time to work out why an airbrush isn't working. Maybe I just need to send it off to someone, because this was a £100 airbrush. Then I've got Procon Boy. Look how clean I keep it. God, always look after your tools like I do. This is the workhorse. It's a great airbrush, brilliant, pretty bomb-proof. I got a new needle in there, I think. Lost the needle in the move, found the spare needle, so I thought, oh, hey, that's, you know, we'll go with that. So that's really good. Now, the reason I didn't go for like Galeri's version of it is I don't need it. So it would be pointless me going and getting the same airbrush and saying, oh yeah, I got this, and not as good as the 2 I got. So I went for their one that is something that I don't have. So I've never had a trigger. Never had a trigger airbrush, and my finger does. I do hate this. After a while, I find this really painful. I don't know why. Another one of my long list of frailties that I suffer from. But so I thought we'd try this already. I'm just naturally going to go like that for some reason. which has surprised me, but that's how it sits in the hand, so that's how I do it, which is far more comfortable straight away for long sessions. And I do have some big stuff that I want to paint. So what we've got, again, for bases, if nothing else, so it comes loaded with so there's basically a 0.3 needle in there at the minute, and then you can put that up to a 0.5, which would be good for big stuff. And then you've got 0.7 with a big cup that my friend said, oh, that would be good for spraying shipping containers. But I'm sure there'll be something that we can use the 0.7 for as well. But it might be if I need to go and touch up some dents on my car. But yeah, 0.5, 0.3 is probably good enough. So there we are. That's Gallieri. They've given me all the usual guff that you get, and I'm sure anyone who's ever wanted to buy a Gallieri airbrush has already bought one and is not going to be using any of my affiliate links, so we won't bother with that. But I'll show you what it is anyway. They sent it to me, and we'll go with that. I'm sure they've sold every airbrush they're ever going to sell with the amount they've sent out, but there we are. So that's something that's of interest. So we'll drop down onto the bench now, have a look at a couple of these that I've the Panzer I B that I've finished, and the Panzer I C that's nearly finished. We'll wrap this up, and then you can look forward to the videos that are coming later in the week. Okay, so here we are with the Tamiya Panzer I B. Now, this was a great model. I had this finished around sort of December last year time. It was a very quick model to get together, actually, and paint. So this is finished in MRP Panzer Grey over a Mr. Surface of Black. Which does go on very, very dark. Now, if I just show you one I made earlier, often people say, "Oh, that's a bit dark." Well, this is exactly the colour it was. So don't be scared to go too dark, because you need to with the amount of dust. If you're doing Barbarossa with the dust and all blowing over everything, it really comes up quite a lot lighter. So if you start light, you're going to go too far the other way. So I like to start really, really dark, which is pretty much what the colour was, which is this. Nice, this, isn't it? Keep thinking about this. I've done a lot of work on this. And it's ready to go. Just need to get weathering. But that's for another day. This is an excellent kit. Link and length tracks, fantastic. I've seen some people have some problems with them, but if you just take your time, they fit lovely. They can be a bit delicate, but it's a Panzer I track. It is delicate, you know. That's what it's going to be. So on the tracks, these received a track. They were black, tracks wash, dust all through them, and then just hit with a graphite pencil on the edge. No, actually, painted with chrome silver, and then I've switched to this now. Started using LP11 lacquer on the next one that we're going to look at. Yeah, a really nice kit, great figure. Not my best work on the figure, but it's okay. I just wanted to get it done at the time. I've mentioned before, it's a difficult time, so I just wanted to get it finished. I would have tried a bit harder. Tried to keep the door darker so it's cleaner and stand out from the rest of the finish, because obviously it's going to be on the inside, which I think it does. Nice bit of grime around the turret there. The light is killing this. I've tried to change the settings. I don't know what's the problem is, but it doesn't look like it's got like a greeny yellowy hue on camera, which it doesn't have in person. So you just have to take my word for it. This kind of yellow sheen that's on it is the light for some reason. But yeah, so now I've had a bit of time to let this sit. I think the only thing I'm not too pleased with is the size of some of the sizes of some of the splashes. Like we've got something there. I mean, it's probably quite natural, but I would like to just go in and dial that back a little bit. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's quite different to anything I've done before. It's quite a strong piece, I think. It's pretty good. The tools, as you can see, look really good. So that's black, rust wash, then caught with a graphite pencil. I'm not particularly happy with this, but people I've shown it to seem quite happy that it looks like the muffler's burnt through, but it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't sell that to me. I feel like I haven't done that properly. But that's something for next time. But yeah, a really nice model. Now this is going to go on a base. And I'm trying to give the models a bit of height. So I'm building them up a little bit out of plastic card, like that. And then this is going to go on here somewhere. I think it's going to be like that. So something like that. Hang on, where are we? Somewhere like that. As if it's going along, and then the edge of the road is just here. This is that VMS stuff, by the way. Takes impressions from tracks and stuff and wheels very well. So I'm just going to do a little bit of grass work just along here, running up to the edge of the road, which is there. And in fact, I've got the exact picture of what I want the road to look like. That. Just like that. So almost just go straight up to the edge of the road with grass, some rubble and rocks along the edge, and then dusty road. And it's all legit because, look at that, it's Barbarossa. So that's the plan for that one. Now, I was getting bogged down on the base, so the base is another time. We'll do a video on the base afterwards. The model's done. That's what it's about. That's what the video's about. That's going up, and that'll be up in a couple of weeks. Then we've got, it was with that, the motorbike and sidecar. And again, like I said, I've split that off with a little bit of an offcut. I'm just going to put that on a pretty tight vignette here, because it's all done, something like that. With the post going there, and then using the side of the box. So these, so I think I'm going to cut them out, edge them, mat them down, and hopefully they'll look pretty good then. And they're going to go all on this. And look the part, typical Tamiya. Now this is one of the best figures I think I've painted. I let myself down at the face, but other than that I'm pretty happy. Again, desperate to finish them, so haven't done the helmets, haven't properly finished the gun, it's not as tight, so I'll go in and tighten that up. I like the arm, the forearm there, because you can actually see some of the veining. I picked out the veining, different tones. Again, it's not, I'm quite surprised it's not coming through on the camera that well. This is my iPhone, it's usually pretty good, but it's struggling. It doesn't look like that in real life. It's pushing the highlight and trying to push the shadow to make it stronger, he says. Anyway, I'm happy with it, it's fine. And it's pretty good. And I might revisit the face. You can see I think I've had a couple of attempts there and he looks a bit odd. In fact, the camera's making the face look better than it is. And then there, you can see the sort of veining again. See the veins running along there? Incredible, really, all moulded in. So just picked it out. This has got the wheels. No, it hasn't. It's not got the wheels. It's got the special hobby wheels, which make a huge amount of difference. And they're fine. They are like for like, especially up there, look, where you can see it. So this is the same thing again. And you can see these chaps aren't quite done. They just need another hour. All these three figures need another hour between them, and they'll be sorted. But you can tell I was just trying to get to the end. I think the motorbike could do a bit more refinement. Again, the camera is making this a yellowy hue, and it's pushing the dust. There's more grey when you look at it. It's not as much dust. It's probably the light. But yeah, he sits on there quite nicely when you actually get him down. Look, his hands are on the handlebars and all as well. We've got weighted tyres. So it's pretty good. So that's that. And then finally we've got the base for the Panzer I C. Now this is the most finished base. It's all smoothed off, all done. And it done enough finish off this tank. It looks really nice. When you actually get it sat in, it sits down nicely, almost overhangs the base, which is what we want, and it's really, really shows off the model nicely. So I'm very pleased with this. It's quite strong colours, which I wanted to do. I wanted to boost it a bit, and I've done that. So this is using the MRP Dunkelgelb, green and brown. Again, they're more muted in real life. The camera is, you have to take my word for it, but the camera is forcing the colours to be slightly stronger. I don't want them quite as strong as they are. I'm almost a luminous on camera. It looks the part. It's very nice. So all of the chipping and all of this work on top is life colour, washable, liquid pigments. So I used all of these on the top. There is absolutely no oil or enamel weathering anywhere other than on the dust and dirt. All of this is acrylic. The chipping came out really nicely. It's something I don't usually do. I mean, on that door, it's pretty good around the edge. Quite natural looking. Again, down the side. Again, quite strong for me. Don't usually do this sort of thing, as you'll know, but it's a training vehicle. It did get absolutely battered from what I could see in the photos. So again, we've got the tools, as you can see. That rust wash over black with graphite pencil is a real nice touch. It's all looking pretty good. Again, the rust wash on the tracks. Just got to pick out the lights, green and then red. Got to do the aerial up here, and then paint in those periscopes because they kind of stand out a bit to me. Other than that, I think we're done. I drilled out the barrels. I hadn't done, but I have done now. It makes quite the difference. So yeah, pick a figure and we'll get that one on and finished. I had an absolute nightmare with some. I filmed all the weathering of the underside and I couldn't get the video off my phone, or I could, and then the computer wouldn't understand it, but I got there in the end, so we're okay. So that one will be coming down the line. I'm estimating in a month or so we'll get this finished, probably somewhere into June. And so we know that it's just not all about tanks. We've got a plane coming down. I'll push this one ahead of that Panzer we were just looking at, so this will be ahead of the one we just did. I'll bring this one out probably towards the end of May. Again, not much to do on here. Just get the odd bits put on, work out what I'm doing with the Venturi, quick wash, maybe a simple base, maybe not, and then get that one done. We'll have a look at the Mustang as well. I might try and get a bit of that built together. I've got a 109 G10 on the go in the background as well, which has been a sort of long-term thing. And yeah, very nice blue underside of Soviet aircraft. Really nice. There we are. Right, so that's the end of that update, I think. That's been a long old waffle. As always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We've got reviews coming up this week of said models. You'll get the H39, and then we'll follow that maybe the week after with the BA 64B. And then we'll see what we get into after that. As always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video.